Welcome, comic lovers. Garvin, the old comic guy, coming at you with another interesting comic. I'm going to keep going with this series, at least for a little bit, have some fun with it. Me follow All-Star Comics. So, the revival of the 1976 by Jerry Conway. We're looking at the second, so this is issue 59. Again, the All-Star Comics ended in 1950. It restarted as All-Star Westerns with 58 and ran through 119, which was the 1961, early 1961. No, I guess it's really about mid-1961. Anyway, then in 76, 75, DC decided to revive the characters. They brought in some younger characters. That's what we're seeing happen here. And they're calling it Super Squad to the Justice Society. This is all placed on Earth 2, but we have Star Spangled Kid, we have Robin, and we have Power Girl joining the Justice Society of America. And this is, again, it's done by Jerry Conway with an assist in the plot by Paul Levitz. Now, Paul Levitz at this point, not doing a lot. He will obviously do quite a bit with DC. Rick Estrada is the artist, and Wally Wood is the inker. And I'm sure you guys know the story. Wally Wood at one point got frustrated with DC and started increasing Power Girl's breasts. And the inker has that ability fairly easily to darken where they want to darken and make it look larger than it is. This came out in April. On the cover, it says April. On the indicia, it is March, April. So I thought, well, okay, what's going on? Let's see. You Sexy Thing is a big hit. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. That was Paul Simon. What else? The Love Machine, right? The Miracles was on. What else was going on in movies? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest had come out. That's still a big hit. Taxi Driver came out this year, and that's, of course, pretty big. All the President's Men, all that going on, right? So, big movies, considered some of the classics. Also, I think the Bad News Bears came out that year. 76, well, it did come out in 76. I don't know if it was out yet. Let's kind of talk through some of this, what's going on. There's another artist that we don't talk about when we talk about these. And you can kind of see the guy's name in, where was it? It was, so I was looking through it, and there we go. So a lot of the artists, so in this case, Rick Estrada, he would do the big main guys, right? And this was the way comics were done by the artists, right? So Rich Buckler, Jerry Ordway, George Perez, Bob Layton, all these guys, right? Even if you go back to like Kirby and stuff like that, though there wasn't a ton of people, Kirby didn't have people working with him, so he just kind of had to do it. But a lot of them had assistants, and the assistants would do background stuff, right? So they would create backgrounds. Genuinely, if you look at Rich Buckler's stuff, some of those backgrounds were done by George Perez, Bob Layton, Jerry Ordway. They worked under him, so they did a lot of the background stuff. So in this, you can kind of Al Sirois. So if you look at this one here, and you can see, let's see, Al up here, where it says Al, and then Serois. And so this is, and I may be pronouncing it wrong, but he did the backgrounds. He did the backgrounds on 58 also, which I think is pretty cool that we forget that. This also has a nice, real nice Neil Adams, Justice for All Children. So this is an ad. And this is not an ad for DC Comics, though DC is a sponsor of Justice for All Children. It's kind of cool that they used to do like what I would call PSAs. Radios do PSAs. Well, people don't really listen to radio anymore, but radios do PSA, public service announcements. Usually they're advertising themselves and stuff that they're doing, but I always find it interesting, and it used to be TV did these too. We don't so much anymore because TV is very different. But they did PSAs, and I think that is so cool to see them. I remember some talking about how to behave on a bus, getting up for elderly, all that sort of stuff. Now I'm elderly. People don't get up on the bus, just so you know. Some of the same ads, right? It's not like it's a bunch of new ads. We're still fighting Brainwave. They finally confront him, though they end up fighting somewhere. Where is it? They end up fighting Perdegaton. He has a new body by Brainwave, though Brainwave is Brainwave is still psychic emanation. It's not really him. It's not really his new body. But Perdegaton, always weird, right? Perdegaton. Is there a good picture of him? It feels like this was going to try to sell action figures at some point, but you can kind of see him there. That is Perdegaton's new body given to him by Brainwave. It looks like it was something going to sell action figures. Serious, that's the way it looked. Anytime they give a superhero a gimmick or a supervillain a gimmick, I expect it to be something showing, I don't know, a new toy. Again, a lot of the same ads. We do see that Star Spangled Kid at this point is using Starman's gravity rod. If you didn't know that was happening. The All-Star Comets are not Roy Thomas and Jerry Ordway, and Jerry Bales. This is, who are they from? They're from Normal People. We have Harold May from Columbia, Missouri, and Paul Pinto from Ann Arbor, Michigan. We also have a pretty cool cupcake, Hostess was big on this. This is Shazam. Or Captain Marvel, though, he couldn't be called Captain Marvel because there was already a Captain Marvel book after DC got ownership. I don't know if DC had the ownership for this or if it was just licensed. Anyway, this is, I think this is the last one that Rick does, Rick Estrada, and we have a new artist on the next one who would later go on to become quite famous. Well, next time. All right, you guys, take care of each other. Have a good day.